I want to reiterate just how immeasurably sad the tragic passing of Brian really is. To his family, to his friends, to all of his work colleagues, and frankly to the American healthcare industry, within which Brian was an innovator and somebody who endlessly put patient interest first to try and improve healthcare for everybody.
Well, hello, Crime Squad. Welcome back to my channel. I appreciate you guys for stopping by and watching this video. I know you can tell from the title, the subject, and what we're about to dive into tonight. In this video, we're discussing the timeline of events, the things that have happened in the case of the UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson, who was ambushed and fatally shot in Manhattan, New York. So we're going to talk about this story, but really from the perspective of the events that led up to his untimely demise, as well as the things that have happened since it has occurred. So let's start with November 24th. That was actually on a Sunday. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the suspect. He arrived, apparently it looks like a he from the photos, arrived in New York City on a Greyhound bus from Atlanta, Georgia, and he actually checked into the High New York City hostel. It's on the Upper West Side using a fake ID. Now, there was some initial planning that is suspected. Surveillance footage later showed the suspect was scouting out the area near the New York Hilton Midtown Hotel, which sounds like this was definitely premeditated just from the initial findings. Now, they haven't uncovered who the suspect is just yet, at least at the time of this recording. November 25th through the 27th, that's the Monday and Wednesday following, he stayed at the hostel. He remained there just kind of maintaining a low profile, and he was observed wearing a face mask at all times except when briefly pulling it aside to maybe speak or eat something. Now, the suspect may have been preparing for the attack by observing Thompson's movements or planning an escape route. On Friday, November 29th, there was a time when he checked out. He checked out of the hostel, and I am saying hostel, not hotel, possibly to avoid suspicion. Then on Saturday, November 30th, the suspect returned to the hostel, checking back in under the same false ID. On Wednesday, the following week, this was the morning of the attack. At 5:30 a.m., the suspect left the hostel, likely with a bicycle, heading toward the New York Hilton Midtown Hotel. Now that's at 5:30 a.m. Then at 6:17 a.m., surveillance footage showed him at a nearby Starbucks where he purchased a water bottle and a granola bar. I guess you have to be hydrated and have some breakfast before doing something so unthinkable. At 6:39 a.m., he arrived at the Hilton and waited near the entrance. Then at 6:44, that's when Brian Thompson was ambushed and fatally unalived as he approached the hotel. 6:48, 4 minutes later, New York Police Department responded to the scene, and Brian Thompson was transported to Mount Sinai West Hospital. 7:12, Thompson unfortunately was pronounced unalived. Now, the escape. The suspect fled the scene on a bike, entering Central Park at about 6:48 a.m. By 7:04, he abandoned the bike and took a taxi to the George Washington Bridge bus terminal. This really sounds planned out. Now, that all occurred on December 4th on a Wednesday. The next day, which was December 5th, that Thursday, the investigation begins, or continues probably at that point. Police reviewed the surveillance footage and identified the suspect's movement based on the cameras in the area. Investigators confirmed the attack was premeditated based on the suspect's actions and evidence at the scene. And what they found were shell casings with the words deny, delay, and depose. They were uncovered, indicating a potential motive linked to the health insurance industry. That's interesting. Now, on December the 6th, on Friday, there was a backpack found. It was believed to belong to the suspect, and it was discovered near Bethesda Fountain in Central Park. The items inside included a jacket and Monopoly money. That's weird, isn't it? Now, there was some FBI involvement. Let's talk about it. The FBI joined the investigation and announced a $50,000 reward for information leading to the suspect's arrest. So anybody out there, if you have information, please contact the FBI. Surveillance footage revealed the suspect's arrival in New York on November the 24th and his stay at the hostel. So that's how they know where the suspect was. Then there was some forensic analysis done. DNA, our good friend DNA. There was some evidence from the backpack that was collected and a few other items. They include a water bottle that was found at the scene. And all of this will be sent for analysis. Now, before we continue the video, or rather wrap up, I want to ask, please remember to like this video. If you find this interesting, please share with a friend. Share because you care, and subscribe to the channel. Now, on Sunday, the search expanded. On Saturday, December 7th, the search expanded. The New York Police Department dive team searched ponds in Central Park for additional evidence, focusing on areas where the backpack was found. I guess they were assuming that if there was additional evidence, that because he was in the park, he may have thrown them into the ponds in Central Park. The suspect's image was released. Again, this was December 7th. There were clear images. Many of you may have seen the hooded image of the individual on the screen, including one from the hostel, which was shared with the public. The escape route was traced. The investigators confirmed the suspect did, in fact, take a taxi to the bus terminal, but could not determine his final destination. Now, that is so interesting that the taxi cab company could not provide that information. That's interesting. We need to dive into that a little bit further. On Sunday, December 8th, the investigation continued, with law enforcement focusing on gathering additional evidence from Central Park and expanding the search to neighboring states, as well as looking at potential evidence from Atlanta, Georgia. Analysis of the suspect's cell phone found near the scene began to trace his call logs and his movements. Now, at this point, there is a nationwide manhunt still remaining active, with a total reward now of $60,000 being offered for information leading to the suspect's arrest and capture. Now, this is in general a comprehensive overview of the calculated movements of the suspect and law enforcement's response to the incident. What we'd like for you to do, if you have not done so already, is to please be safe, be vigilant for sure. And if you see anything, hear anything, etc., please don't hesitate to call law enforcement. I wanted to bring this to your attention, this brief timeline, just to bring you up to speed on the Brian Williams case. There are a lot of conspiracy theories out there about why this occurred. Was this somebody that was just angry with the healthcare industry? There has been a suggestion that some of the other executives from other companies are beefing up their security in light of this happening. We just really don't know at this point what the motive of the person was. Was it personal? Was it general? Is it targeted? Because some of the evidence, according to police records, indicate that there was some premeditation. As always, Crime Squad, Thank you for listening in. Be safe, be smart, and we'll always catch you in the next one.